Hi everyone! Welcome again to another edition of Storytime with Robbie. Hope you're all doing well and having a fabulous day so far and getting excited as we are getting so close to Christmas. Just 2.5 weeks just like 2 weeks to go. Today I'm going to be reading you some more Christmas themed books, and I will be reading you some stories I've got some stories to read to you today about reindeer. I'm going to be reading you Reindeer of the Year by Rosie Greening, and I will be reading you The Little Reindeer by Nicola Killen, and I will be reading you Dasher by Matt Twarves, and I will be reading you Pig the Elf by Aaron Blavley. Hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Alrighty, everybody. The first story I'm going to read you today, the first Christmas themed book I'm going to read you today is one of 3 stories about a reindeer that I will read you today. So I'm going to read you first Reindeer of the Year by Rosie Greening. Here we go. Today's the day, says Santa, and the elves all give a cheer. It's time to find out who will be the Reindeer of the Year. Every year, this contest puts the reindeer to the test. They each compete to win the prize and prove they are the best. The stadium is buzzing. I love Dasher. It's almost time to start. The nervous reindeer wait backstage, excited to take part. Applause. Comet. Dancer. I love Blitzen. First on stage is Dasher, who's the fastest of the group. She flies around at turbo speed and does a loop-de-loop. Reindeer 2 is Comet, whose fireworks crack and fizz. He sets off zooming rockets that go pop and bang and whiz. Reindeer 3 is Dancer, who waltzes, hops, and spins. And when does the snowman stomp? The little elves join in. Reindeer 4 is Cupid, the singing superstar, that croons into the microphone and strums on his guitar. Next up are the Reindeer Twins, performers 5 and 6. Blitzen flips and Donder dives when they do snowboard tricks. Little Prancer leaps on stage and starts to bounce and bound. When it comes to high jumps, he's the best reindeer around. Up last is Graceful Vixen, who's the coolest reindeer yet. She ice skates round the stadium performing parodies. The audience starts cheering as confetti fills the skies. Every reindeer tried their best. Who will win the prize? Santa gets the shining cup and smiles around with pride. Who is the reindeer of the year? It's your turn to decide. And alrighty, everybody, the second Christmas themed book I'm going to read you today is the second reindeer story that I'm going to read you today. This one is called The Little Reindeer by Nicola Killet. Here we go. It was Christmas Eve and Ollie had just gone to sleep when jingle, 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 she woke again with a start. What was that sound? She rushed to the window, but all she could see was a blanket of fresh snow. Grabbing her sled, she ran downstairs. Ollie she went downstairs and stepped into the wintry night. Ollie jumped up to catch a falling snowflake when she heard the magical sound again. Jingle, jingle, jingle. She had to follow it. Whoosh! Racing down the hill, she heard the ringing again. Jingle, jingle, jingle. And this time it was much clearer. The bells got louder as the wind whistled and the trees shook. Jingle, jingle, jingle. Ollie was getting close. She took a deep breath and feeling very brave, she ran into the darkness. There, hanging from a branch, was a collar circled with silver bells. Who could it belong to? Then came a new sound. Crunch, 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 a reindeer stepped through the crisp snow. Hello, she whispered, not quite believing her eyes. Are you looking for this? The reindeer knelt down patiently while Ollie fastened his collar. Then he lowered himself even farther. Ollie knew exactly what to do and climbed onto his back. She wondered if they would go for a ride through the forest. But to her surprise, they soared up into the night sky, leaving the trees far below. The new friends landed softly in the snow. Thank you, Ollie whispered. They didn't want to part, but there was someone very special who needed the reindeer's help that night. Yawning sleepily, Ollie crept back to her room and was soon dreaming of her magical journey. Jingle, jingle, jingle. This time, the silver bells didn't wake Ollie. As her reindeer flew through the night sky once more, in the morning, Ollie found her presents. Now she would always think of her new friend. See you next year, she whispered. Diane. Alrighty, everybody. The third Christmas-themed book I'm going to read you today is the third story about a reindeer. And this is the last one I have about a reindeer. Last story I have about a reindeer for you. I'm going to read you Dasher by Matt Twards. Here we go. Life was not easy for the reindeer family of the J.P. Finnegans, traveling circus and menagerie. They spent long days crammed together under the hot sun as an endless stream of curious people jostled to catch a glimpse of them. Even at night, there was little rest. Some nights to pass the time, Mama could tell stories. It was a magical place, she would say. The air was crisp and cold, and the ground was always covered with a cool blanket of white snow. Your father and I were free to roam under the glow of the North Star. Dasher, the youngest reindeer, loved Mama's stories. Is that the North Star, Mama? She asked. The very same, Mama said. We always knew we were home when it was directly overhead. I wish we could go there, said Dasher. Mama sighed. I do too, she said. But Mr. Finnegan is not kind to animals who try to escape. Day after day, under the watchful eye of Mr. Finnegan, the reindeer family delighted crowds wherever they went. Dasher liked being with her family, and she loved meeting so many children who were always kind to her. Sometimes they even fed her carrots, which were her favorite food. But at night, while the others were sleeping, she would lie awake, gazing at the bright star on the horizon, wishing for crisp, cold air and cool blankets of white snow. One night, mighty winds shook the circus tents and rattled the animals' cages. Dasher was wide awake, wishing on the North Star, when she was startled by a loud creak. The gate to their pen had swung open. Dasher could hear rustling from inside Mr. Finnegan's trailer. She glanced up at the North Star. She looked back at her sleeping family. She knew this might be her only chance. Her heart pounded. She took a deep breath, and then she ran as fast as she could. On she went for hours with the North Star as her guide. But no matter how far she traveled, it was still way off on the horizon. Dasher began to wonder if she would ever make it there. She thought about turning back, but she couldn't remember the way. She didn't know what to do. So she looked up at the North Star and made a wish. Just then, Dasher heard something in the distance, a soft jingling coming from the woods. There, in a clearing, Dasher saw a man and a horse. "I'm sorry, Santa," said the horse. "The sleigh is just so heavy this year." The man smiled. "Now, don't you worry, Silver Bell," he said. "We'll take all the breaks you need." "But the children," said the horse. "They'll be heartbroken if we can't deliver all these toys by Christmas morning." "Children," thought Dasher. She stepped forward. "Maybe I can help," she said. "Hello there," said the man. Dasher walked closer. The man smiled. "Have you ever pulled a sleigh?" he asked. Dasher shook her head. "I've never seen a sleigh," she said, "but I pull a wagon just about every night." "Well," said the man, "how would you like to make a whole bunch of children really happy on Christmas morning?" "I would like that very much," said Dasher. Santa
thanked Dasher and attached her harness. It was soft against her fur, and its jingling bells made the most beautiful sound she had ever heard. Santa climbed into his sleigh. Dasher pulled with all her might. Then suddenly the load felt lighter. Dasher looked down. They were flying. All night, Dasher and Silver Bell pulled Santa's sleigh through the air as Santa guided it from rooftop to rooftop, delivering toys to children everywhere. Dasher had never experienced such a thrill, and she ate so many carrots. She felt like she would burst. She was having so much fun, she forgot all about the North Star. As the first light of dawn appeared on the horizon, they landed. The air was crisp and cold. The ground was covered with a cool blanket of white snow. Dasher searched for the North Star on the horizon, but couldn't find it anywhere. Santa smiled. "Dasher," he said, "look up." And there it was, directly overhead. "Is that the North Star?" she asked. Santa's eyes twinkled. "Merry Christmas," he said, "and welcome home." The North Pole was just as wonderful as Mama's stories. Dasher roamed wherever she pleased, and Santa gave her all the carrots she wanted. But something was missing. "I love it here," she told Santa, "but I miss my family. I wish we could be together." Santa smiled. "That's your best wish yet, Dasher," he said. "Let's go find them." Late that night, Dasher guided Santa's sleigh all the way to J.P. Finnegan's traveling circus, and Menadre, Mama, Papa, Dasher whispered, "Everyone, wake up!" Mama lifted her head. "Dasher," she said, "is it really you?" "It's me, Mama," said Dasher. She told her family all about Santa and Silver Bell and how the North Pole was just as amazing as Mama's stories. "But I missed you," she said. "You were all I wished for." Dasher led her family to Santa's sleigh, and Santa attached their harnesses. "You're not going to believe this part," she said. When Christmas Eve arrived, Silver Bell watched as Santa prepared his team. "Are you sure you don't want to come?" asked Dasher. "I'm sure," said Silver Bell. "I know the 8 of you will do a fine job." Late that night, Santa and his new team of reindeer soared around the world. He called them by name for the very first time. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. On Christmas morning, after all the toys had been delivered, they flew back to the North Pole, where they still live happily today. There, the air is crisp and cold, and the ground is always covered with a cool blanket of white snow. And Dasher has everything she ever wished for. The end. Alrighty, everybody. The fourth Christmas themed book I'm going to read you today is Pig the Elf by Aaron Blabely. Here we go. Oh, Christmas Eve, that most merry of nights, the carols, the baubles, the small twinkly lights. Santa was coming. Tis was bigger than big, but no one was feeling more festive than Pig. How he loved Christmas. He'd chortle with glee, the presents for me. He'd written his list and he asked for a lot, but Santa takes orders, so why on earth not? He just couldn't wait. He was itching for loot. He could barely sit still in his little red suit. The presents, he muttered again. When will he get here? Oh, when? Tell me when. He'll come when we sleep, said his lovely friend Trevor. But Pig shouted, sleep! I have none whatsoever. Sleep is for fools. Oh, yes, sleep is for losers. I won't go to bed with the rest of you snoozers. I'm sitting up late. I'll be here when he comes. I swear by those stockings and gingerbread crumbs. So Trevor went dutifully off to his bed, but naughty old Pig stayed up, just like he said. The waiting was endless, but Pig held his ground. Then at 3:33, well, he heard a strange sound. And who should appear down the chimney with swag but a portly old gent with a lumpy red bag. He piled up some presents marked Trevor and Pig. Then he picked up his milk and he took a quick swig, but then as he turned to go away on his way, a short, cranky dog appeared, shouting out, "Hey! I asked for more below," Pig in dismay, but Santa turned tail and was scuttling away. "Hey!" shouted Pig, "I'm not done with you, chum." Then he nipped poor old Santa's big, rosy red bum up through the chimney, out to the sleigh. Pig held on tight. "You're not getting away. I asked for a mountain of presents and loot. So where is the rest, you old Yuletide galoot?" But the sleigh took off fast. Gee, those reindeer were speedy, and away fell their guest. Yes, the one who was greedy. But as Trevor lay dreaming of holiday cheer, a real Christmas miracle happened right here. Yes, Pig must be blessed. He survived that big drop and was saved by a tree with an angel on top. The end. Alrighty, everybody. Really hope you enjoyed the reindeer, the Christmas-themed reindeer books today, and the Pig the Elf story that was about a dog. Thank you so much again for joining me and for watching. It's always a pleasure being with you and reading to you. Please comment on the video as always and let me know what you think of the pics. I always like to hear your feedback. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you here
on the next edition of Story Time with Robbie. Until then, bye.